on the troll.
Hello and welcome back to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to give you the stories of what happened in that court. Kangaroo court, but we have to deliver on what happened in that court. Whatever happened, it happened.
This is embarrassing at this point. I am so embarrassed. And I don't understand why. So they're trying to tell us that they're going to drag this again for another year.
Mm-hmm.
With all of these inconsistencies and all of the discrepancies and all. Wouldn't, under normal circumstances, be where the bar stops to say, enough is enough? This case has come to a point where we have to admit that we don't have much as the state. We're never going to reach that, are we?
No, we are not. But let us get into what happened in that court.
So guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us here again for another deliberation on the Senzo Meyiwa Trial. And thank you to all of you guys who support this channel. Thank you. We appreciate you guys so much. But let's dive straight into what happened in court today. A lot happened. There was this argument, the arguments that they had to hand in impromptu. One would say it was impromptu. But the judge was ready because he said he was preparing over the weekend. But court resumed with Advocate Baloyi handing in exhibits of maps from Fine-Tillingham's evidence. So he was still going through the exhibits from Fine-Tillingham's evidence and their correct naming and identification for record purposes. He also confirmed that a court order on the ballistic expert has been complied with. Advocate George Baloyi said that reanalysis of the ballistics began on Monday last week, and the analysis went on until Thursday, and a report will be available by Wednesday. This Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, we'll get to hear what the defense ballistic experts, or not really, because he said he needed to first start with recalling of Colonel Steyn. So Baloyi recommended that the cross-examination of Colonel Mangena be completed before Brigadier Gininda is recalled. So remember that Mangena did not finish his cross-examination, you guys. Last year, actually, around this time is when he paused due to him going to an African country. I think it was a DRC or something at the time.
Yes.
For work purposes. He said there was work that he needed to do over there, and then it kept being postponed. It was supposed to take place in May, but then the Defense Council at the time didn't have their ballistic expert ready at the time. They were struggling with funds and everything, but it ultimately came together because the legal aid chopped in. The legal aid came in and said that, approved for them to use the ballistic expert that they are currently using.
Okay.
So Mangena will be ready to resume his cross-examination on Wednesday. And Brigadier Gininda...
Ansi Moyo, thank you very much. That's £9.
Thank you, Ansi Moyo. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
May God increase where you're taking from. Okay?
Yeah. Lovely to catch up. To catch alive in a long time. We are happy that you did catch it.
Today we tried to be early. Today I was like, no, I am coming early because I a lot was going on today. I'm not sure if I am the only one who is in the same bus of feeling like, you know what, I don't know what Advocate Baloyi is talking about. But then I had to come early because I felt like the more I delayed, the more confused and overwhelmed I became. So I was like, no. This one, we are going to analyze it together.
Okay.
Then Brigadier Gininda will testify after Mangena is done with his cross-examination. So currently the pressure is on, I believe, in my opinion, on the defense ballistic expert. He's the one who's going to either put a stop to this or not. We'll see.
Okay.
But the weight are on his shoulders. That's what I feel in my gut. Well, the state had indicated that it wanted to recall cell phone data expert as Colonel Lambertus Steyn. He will have to explain all the discrepancies between his phone data that he got, or the evidence that he was using to testify, since it's that different from the one Binky Fine-Tillingam was testifying on from the service provider, specifically Vodacom. Baloyi brought an application for the recalling of Colonel Steyn. At this moment, I paused as I heard this news, and I was trying to digest them, you guys. I'm like, what was the point of Veiws coming to testify and standing for Colonel Steyn if he can be recalled again? They gave us an impression that Colonel Steyn was never going to come out of his retirement. And now they are pulling him again from his retirement after they had said Veiws will testify on his behalf. What was the reason? What was the point? What was the end goal and what was the mission is the question I have. Then Tulani Mgomezulu and Sipho Ramusipili said they were not opposing the application, while Advocate Charles Mnisi said that he wanted to go through the state's head of argument first.
What is their angle if they're not opposing?
I feel like they know it's a waste of time. They know that the judge is obviously going to agree for Steyn to be recalled. That's my opinion.
That we know.
They are like, what is the use of wasting my energy arguing this when I already know that they want to give Steyn an opportunity to redeem himself?
What
Rather,
is the use
let
of
me
having
sit,
sleepless night?
you know, preparing for all of these things, writing heads of argument. I don't have time for that. That's what I feel like Mgomezulu and Ramusipila are like at the moment, or the energy that they're probably thinking in this process. And they're like, okay, I'm going to reserve my energy and I'm going to cross-examine him when he comes here. I'd rather prepare for the cross-examination of Steyn when he's recalled.
Okay.
I feel like that's what I would do in this situation, because we already know that the state is not going to take this lying down. They want Steyn to come and fix all of the discrepancies. They are working on it. They want him to fix it, to polish it, to make it look palatable, because it doesn't look good. So it's an opportunity for him to redeem himself. I don't know how he's going to redeem himself.
No. You guys are missing the point, I think.
We're missing the point.
Yeah,
What do you mean we're missing the point?
I feel like when I listen to what Baloyi was saying, you guys are missing the point.
Maybe it's because I was struggling to hear Mr. Baloyi today. Honestly, you guys, I must confess, I struggled to hear that man. I didn't know what his argument was.
But then don't argue with what he was saying. First, just give us what he said. And then we will try to unpack it, because if you argue with it, you'll miss the point again.
Well, he said they only had written heads of argument, and they were given 20 minutes earlier this morning. So here's the thing here. They received the heads of argument from Advocate Baloyi, or the state, in the morning, 20 minutes before court took place.
Which was corrected by saying that he sent them in the evening. Well, one might argue that no one is waiting for his email. Not like he told them in advance that I'm going to be sending you this. So in that moment of being, in my opinion, sneaky, you just email people around 12 or something.
While they're sleeping.
And then, or not even around 12, even if it's at 8. But if you don't tell them that they need to go check their emails, it's not like they work in an admin department where they have to check their emails every now and then. Even then, you have stipulated time from 8 to to 5 maybe. Other than that, anything sent beyond that, then that becomes the work of the following day. In a sense, you'd argue that Mnisi was right to say that we received this thing in the morning.
Say you know you have a court appearance on Monday and it gets sent at 12 o'clock and now you have to lose sleep as you prepare.
Yes.
And then you're going to show up for a whole full court day with no sleep after preparing. Hi! Angiyazi mina lento ukuthi isebenza kanjani kodwa this is what it is. This is what we are witnessing. The judge had a problem with him being undecided. He wanted him to make a decision in that moment to advocate Mnisi, whether he was opposing or not. I mean, I felt the pressure. On his behalf. I felt like he was being pressurized to choose a side, pick a side. And I'm like, Judge Kanzis Jahe Pina. Leli bus lela mhlanje ngathi this bus today is in too much of a hurry. And why are we in so much of a hurry? Why are we speeding like this? You know? It's like they are not given time to process what is happening, in my opinion. Well, Mnisi said that he does not know what Steyn will be coming to say. So whether to oppose or not, he doesn't know. And advocates Tulele Nxumalo and advocates Zandile Mshololo said that they were opposing the application. Well, they had made up their minds already. And the judge also had said to Nxumalo or to Mnisi that Nxumalo, whether he's opposing or not, he has been asked, and Nxumalo said that he had gone through the heads and he formulated the decision that he was opposing the application. So I guess Nxumalo did not sleep. He's one of those who managed to catch that AM email. Allegedly.
It was not much to digest from the morning up until the time you went to court, depending on what time you woke up. And you'd assume Nxumalo being a person that maybe does not sleep in Joburg most of the time, maybe.
He wakes up early.
He wakes up early, then he gets time to go through these things. Maybe in Elobrain or somewhere, wherever he is.
Okay, so Mshololo said that they can proceed with the application.
Zipondi, welcome to our members. Thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome,
so shout
Zipondi.
out to you.
Shout out. Then the Mshololo said that they can proceed with the application, while Nxumalo said that he wanted to prepare his heads of argument. So the judge asked them how much time they need. Do they need? And Nxumalo was like, overnight. Okay, he needed overnight. And the judge said, no, we all knew on Friday that the state planned to bring this application. So the judge said that he had done his preparation because he expected him to launch it. Nxumalo said that he had a problem with the basis of the application, and he said that it would be difficult to think about what Baloyi was going to say in his heads of argument. Well, the judge said that Nxumalo was supposed to read the evidence of Mr. Steyn, further implying that he read all of it right up to Ms. Pinky Fine-Telengam. So he was like, no ways, we're going to sit for an hour here and you're going to put together your heads of arguments and we're going to come back after an hour and yeah, the pressure.
Yeah.
Heads of arguments need to be written down, right? So today I felt, and a lot of people were underwhelmed with Nxumalo's presentation because it felt like he's recalling from his head.
Yeah, he did say he's going to address them from the bar.
Because what time do you have to sit down and write paragraphs and paragraphs of?
Only if you were privy to the state's submissions before time. In my opinion, if you caught Mshololo's low punch there, when the judge was trying to say he prepared. Only if you have access to what the state is going to.
Maybe Nxumalo had the access, you know.
Yes.
Maybe he had the access. He knew what was going to be argued today.
And that was not meant for Nxumalo.
No, it wasn't. Of course, we know you were. It was directed at the judge. Guys, yo, the pressure of it all, the pressure. Like, whenever there's this speed when it comes to the charge, the hair the back of my neck stands up, because I know that there's a hurry to quickly close this thing, and it's a feeling that's very uneasy for me. It's very uneasy for me. I don't ever get used to it, but yeah, it comes with being a lawyer in that courtroom. Well, Baloyi said that this state is bringing the application to clarify two aspects that appeared on, he called page 23, 26, and 27 of his affidavit and paragraph 9 of Mrs. Van Tellingem's evidence. Well, Baloyi said in her affidavit, she set out the transactions on Kelly Khumalo's phone for the 2nd of August 2014 and 2015 between her number and the calls received from other parties, and Steyn locates the two calls which are said to be made by accused number 5 to Kelly Khumalo. So Baloyi said that in cross-examination of Van Tellingem on the point whether the Section 205 reflected the two calls, counsel for accused 3 asked if the two calls reflect on Vodacom. She answered that Section 205 data does not reflect the two calls. Baloyi said that they submit that this is a serious allegation which must be investigated if counsel says that there is impropriety on the part of Colonel Steyn.
Let's hold up there. Remind people, please like the video. Please like the video. Like the video so that we can continue without disturbance.
He said that they must it must be put to Colonel Steyn to clarify the calls he said were made to Ms. Khumalo using data or internet. This is why they were bringing the application. Baloyi said that he's bringing the application to recall witness Colonel Lambertus Steyn, and he said that the state ought to be allowed to recall Lieutenant Colonel Lambertus Steyn to clarify issues of the two calls, whether it is the cell phone downloads and the information on pages of his affidavit. He said that it is essential that he be called so the truth can be determined, so the court can make a just decision. All evidence that will assist the court, it pains the state that there is a suggestion that the state put improper evidence before the court. Baloyi said that the factual metrics of this case will assist in determining any motive should this become necessary. Recalling Lieutenant Colonel Steyn will help to resolve the issue of motive. Were such calls, or did he perhaps make an error?
All right.
Or is it for him to come and explain?
So everything that was submitted here, I don't know if you did pick up that this was just an application to bring back Colonel Steyn on the basis that his reputation is damaged.
Even the judge was fagazing there at the mention of his reputation.
That is it. That is it. So
in summary, summarize it for me slowly. The argument here is for the reputation of Colonel Steyn.
Yes. That's what Baloyi was saying in a nutshell. Wow, forget about
after
whatever.
The whole gibberish,
however the English was and whatever that went in there, but the gist of the nub, as he would like to put it, of his submission is that he wants to clarify for Steyn. In fact, it would even assist the accused number 3 not to press charges against one of these people, which is Steyn, according to accused number 3. You understand? That's the basis. So in a sense, we are trying to prevent, as Mnisi would have put it, we are trying to prevent what will happen in a different court from the court of Senzo Meyiwa's case.
But doesn't this need a separate
It
court?
does. So that's what they are trying to do.
So
Let
they're
me
trying
tell you my
to
opinion.
close what might happen.
Which is a big damage. Look, imagine if Rata is found, not if, in my opinion, but if Rata finds these guys guilty, then they go down, but they press charges against Steyn. This guy wins. What will happen?
The whole case.
Because Steyn will be put in a different
affected.
podium to actually speak the truth.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, Baloyi says Steyn's role is misunderstood as an analyst. Underline that, as an analyst.
Misunderstood as an analyst.
From one analyst of data to another, as I am an analyst, I would say what they are trying to say is that Steyn did not input any data. They are cleaning Steyn. I don't know. I know many of you.
It flew over my head. How many say I? How many of you I'm like, what is going on? What is Baloyi saying? Because to me it felt like it's throwing Steyn under the bus.
No, Steyn is not being thrown under the bus. What is happening here is fear what Steyn would do if he's left alone in the wilderness. So the person who can take more blame is Ginindi and his team. And I will support that. Baloyi emphasizes on Steyn's role being misunderstood as an analyst. As he said, when he received data from Ginindi and Section 205. You understand that part? That is his resources that Steyn referenced. That's what they are saying.
Yes.
So what they are trying to do here is that Steyn, he even went further to say Steyn would have inputted any number there according to what the SAPS are saying. He goes further, if you missed him. He's basically saying Steyn is an analyst. Steyn did not do anything. Steyn did not manipulate any data. If at all there was a manipulation of data, look no further than the data that came with the investigating officers. And this is where the nub of this submission is. I'm using the nub. I don't even know what the nub means. I know that it means, I know that it has the gist or whatever. But
it's a nub.
It's a nub. I got it from Mr. Vasilina himself, the commander.
The nub.
Yeah, so the nub of the submission is that throw everything to Ginindi and his team.
And then?
And then Ginindi will come. Remember, there is little or no impact that Ginindi will feel. That's why Ginindi must be the last of all these people.
What do you mean that
of
little
all
or no
the
impact?
mistakes that were done? If you throw them to Ginindi, even if you notice the order of everyone, Ginindi will come and testify. Everyone who had a problem answering a certain question, Ginindi will come and testify. So now the problem with Steyn is that he came as an analyst and an expert. So everything that he said became a problem. They knew, in my opinion, that there was going to be a problem. Hence, they brought in this host to come and sort of start a new evidence, if you ask me. We even highlighted that.
Yes.
Because whatever Steyn was supposed to do, the damage was done. So let us put him into rest so that they don't get much chance of cross-examining him or even of saying more to him. Let us bring hosts to come and iron out the issues that are there and there. Now and then they sounded like they were throwing him under the bus, but let me tell you something. If there was a cooking that happened, Steyn has probably told them, I'm not going down alone if this thing happens. So they said, no, we'll bring you back, in my opinion. We'll bring you back. That is why they are now referring to, I don't know if you caught this. Pinky testified that PDF cannot be edited.
Yes.
Baloyi today says, police are able to convert PDF into a folder. Did you hear that?
I did.
What do you think is happening now?
When I heard that, I thought to myself, okay, the battleground now is Steyn versus Ginita.
No. SAPS is able to convert PDF, meaning even the Excel file Steyn had, it came from SAPS. Again, this is more weight taken away from Steyn to the door of SAPS. Who stands for SAPS in this case?
Ginita.
It's Ginita.
It's Ginita.
Who's gonna come and summarize everything? If you ask me, they would wish all the questions that were asked to Steyn are repeated to Ginita, even though he's not an analyst. Because Ginita is gonna come, in my opinion, and say, okay, listen, we got these numbers through some intelligence that we cannot divulge in this court.
No.
Okay.
No, would
Okay.
they really do that to us
How long
again?
haven't they been doing that?
Oh,
We cannot disclose.
no. Some secret high profile,
Exactly.
confidential.
Exactly. There are cases pending, in particular, my lord, the text violence that, remember that there's still that case of text violence that was opened. I don't know how, for accused number 5. That thing is coming, man. Prepare for it.
Then another roller coaster.
Yes. That's why everything must go to
Bazalwane,
Ginita's
I'm
door.
tired of these people. I am so tired.
So in a sense, Baloyi, listen to Pinky saying that PDF cannot be edited and kept quiet.
And they kept hammering, and he kept quiet. Yes.
Even Sibanda used it as the credibility
Yes.
source of that data.
Yes.
Because it cannot be edited. Do you understand?
Yes.
No one is coming to court to say that I'm the one who convicted that PDF.
And even the judge, throughout the arguments of the defense, he was trying to take the heat away from who could have edited, or the possibility thereof, pointing towards a direction of a certain anybody.
Yeah, one.
He was eliminating, diffusing that.
No one is coming to say I edited that thing. So
No.
SAPS is a group.
Oh, so
No
they're
one's
trying
gonna
to
take
create
accountability
the
of that.
possibility that someone else could have edited it without them knowing. Like the situation of forensics, the evidence bags, someone
At least
opening
there
it.
you are giving people to account for.
Or
that
some
story.
evidence can be stolen, and the person who's in charge of guarding it could not have possibly known what would have happened. That's the situation that's trying
That's
to
where
be
we are going.
created here.
Remember,
with this Excel.
The states cannot be this dumb, such that they create a case which is said to have a mastermind, and mastermind is based on these numbers, right? Can we agree that these numbers are very important because they determine the mastermind?
Yes.
So they created this. They had Section 205 long ago.
Yes.
That we can agree with.
Yes. Yes, they did.
And then there was Steyn later.
Yes. 2018-ish.
Steyn is a
Somewhere there.
later one.
Or 2020. I'm not sure anymore. But yes.
And then they went on to create, to move away from robbery gone wrong to mastermind,
Yes.
to entice us.
Yes.
Even the former minister was happy, speaking in Regal and saying that, hey, you'll be surprised, there might be a mastermind and all that. Big people, you know, man, that time of voting. But yes, we went there. We went there.
Oh my God, they do this to us
So-
every
So these
voting
numbers are
season.
not small things that you can. That's why they need to clarify them. If you ask, that's why they need to clarify. Because now Steyn needs to throw this thing back to SAPS. Because Pinky, in realizing that it's getting hot, she decided to choose the company that pays the bill.
Yes, of course, yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So Pinky is out. Pinky did her job. She could not say if this was fraud or what. As much as she's taught about fraud, where she could not, as Mnisi said.
How convenient.
Okay, well and good, but she did spot the differences, right?
Yes.
And she left like that. Then the company was still intact. Now the problem was left as to how do you explain these differences, because these are important numbers that are determining the so-called mastermind. Without these numbers, then we don't have Kelly.
No, there's no connection between Kelly and the accused at all.
Exactly.
Without these numbers.
Exactly.
And then finding out that one of the numbers is Arthur Mafukate's numbers from Ngumalo today. I was like,
the one that is referred as Kelly's number.
My job, yes. It was Kelly Kumalo making a call to Arthur Mafukate. That is not accused number 5's number. It belongs to Arthur Mafukate. And they presented it as if it was accused number 5's number.
So, basically, you are thinking that Steyn is there to clean himself and leave.
His reputation.
It's like I don't know. It's like he asked, Chief, I need to clear my name.
It's almost like he brought it up.
I cannot.
Since there was an insinuation that he's getting thrown under the bus.
Hey.
And he was like, no, my name. My name with the SAPS. 35 years of giving my service.
Yes.
I need to restore the little bit of dignity I have left.
Yes.
Give me an opportunity and a platform to clear my name.
Yes. Otherwise, hell will break, in my opinion.
Because if you look at it, if it were to close like this and he never is recalled to come and clear his name, he would be known as that shady data analyst from the SAPS. They don't like a dent,
these ones. They don't like dent.
That would be reputation that would be left behind when it came to his name, that Colonel Steyn worked the numbers on an Excel, section 205, and made sure that people go to the prison.
Now, coming to the case itself, is it the duty of this court that is currently sitting to get clarity of to even clean Steyn's name? No, it's not.
It's not.
If Mnisi decides to forge on with this
application of fraud,
this case that he wants to open against
of fraud
and other stuff and blah blah blah
and blah blah,
then the other court should determine if Steyn is guilty or not.
Yes.
And that is where the problem is. You don't want to be resting and then your job follows you after your retirement. After you work for so long. So that's my opinion. My opinion is that the application has nothing to do with that court. But I can tell you, on the basis of supports that Baloyi was getting on his submission, we can all realize, and we know what happened last time there was preparation beforehand of whatever was going to be submitted. The state won. So on the basis of what happened previously, I would say the state is going to be given this one.
I see there a comment from, is it Zippo? They are saying that they have a feeling that Steyn will come and add new spice, new poikikos, new stuff. And funny enough, I feel like that could happen. Do you think he would do that?
There is nothing wrong if this submission was on the basis that Baloyi would like to have Steyn because there's new evidence that has emanated since Steyn took a retirement.
Yeah.
Then there's nothing wrong with that. That is allowed. That is what Baloyi has been trying to quote all along.
But He's not saying that is what is going to
No,
be
no,
done.
no. He's not saying that.
But he's using cases, or he used cases.
Wrong cases
that
to support the wrong submission.
That there will be additional information and clarity.
No, he's not even saying this. He's talking about clarity. He's hammering on clarity. That's why he even made the role clear. You guys are misunderstanding the role of Steyn. Steyn is not the creator or the cooker of data. That's basically what he's saying. Steyn welcomes the data from different parties. In this case, it could be a service provider plus the IO, which is an investigating team or investigator.
And then the judge was saying that it will be. Thank you, Mdu. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindani Dube.
Lindani Dube.
Yes.
Thank you, Lindani Dube. Thank you so much. And when the judge was saying that correction and clarity, it does not mean the same thing, or it does not mean what Steyn is going to come here and do. What was happening there? Because corrections, clarity, isn't that the same thing?
You are clarifying. You are correcting. It's not the same thing. Clarification is standing on the same ground, just clarifying the misunderstanding. Correction is correcting what could have been done wrong. In this case, if you are saying you are correcting, then you are saying the numbers were wrongly imputed. You want to correct that.
So instead of owning correction, you want to use terms like clarify. Clarify what exactly?
It is to minimize the damage that these numbers these numbers were carrying.
So he's gonna say he made a mistake.
Yes, it could be that. No, he could not say he made a mistake, because then the question is, who's the mistake? What were you doing with numbers? So he's gonna say someone gave me those numbers. I threw them on that board of ours, and then we were able to map the cause. Remember, that's what they've been saying. We were given these numbers by the investigator in case of emergency. And now that is that emergency call. So now we have to clarify the issue that we've been saying that these numbers were given to us. We did not make these numbers. Because as an analyst, what are you doing making numbers?
This is a mess. Okay, this is a mess. Well, Baloyi said that the state, would not be party to any evidence that is improper. He said they respectfully submit that Colonel Steyn should be allowed to be recalled. Well, Mgomezulu and Ramosepeli were not opposing this application, and advocate Charles Mnisi said that he will be opposing it. And he started by saying that what he puts to Miss Feindelingem was not thumbsucked. There was a misinterpretation of facts.
Yeah.
So you'd recall that Advocate Mnisi threatened to open a case of fraud after the two alleged calls that Colonel Steyn said accused number 5 made to Kelly Khumalo didn't appear on Feindelingem's Vodacom records, or that PDF that Feindelingem was talking about. And Mnisi said a suggestion that constitutes reputational damage is not true. This is what the state produced. It comes from the state. Now, Mnisi opposed the application to recall Lamberta Steyn, saying that in the process of analyzing the evidence, the state must have come across this evidence during the consultation. The prosecutor would have picked up this information before the two, Steyn and Feindelingem, the two witnesses, came to testify. And I agreed with this.
Yes.
I agreed with it that as a prosecutor, you have the liberty of having this evidence before you give it to the courts.
To prove that this evidence was given to them in advance, or the so-called investigator came with it, they eventually said, with the investigator, there is a mastermind, right?
Yes.
They were even looking at Mondays.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that means they went through these Section 205s and the numbers as per analysis.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So they decided, yeah, this is a number that belongs to Lokuzan, this guy, Nkani, accused number 5.
Yes.
Then they made a call to say that, oh, this guy called Kaylee.
Yes.
As he was calling Kaylee, this is closer to the time. So this could have been a plan that was hatched to actually take away Senzo. So their theory stems from these numbers. It cannot be said that they did not look at these numbers, the credibility of these numbers and all that. They created a theory that is sitting in court now.
Yes.
They cannot turn and say we did not do that.
No.
Please, guys, just like the video.
We have no part in it. We have no involvement in it. To impose or to say that the state, yes, they are shocked all of a sudden. They are acting like, oh no, not after, since 2022.
It's not a question of they did not see it. It was on the blind side, in my opinion. They created a theory on the basis of that. It's like saying that I did not see that this bullet does not belong to a revolver. That's basically something that I can accept. You analyze this thing.
As everything was crashing down and crumbling down like a ton of bricks, as Advocate Mshololode was pointing out the discrepancies. Oh, what a day, what a day. A day that will go down in history. So, as she was doing that, I wanted to see the face of Advocate Baloyi. And he was quite like a church mouse. No interruptions, no nothing from his part coming there. And I knew that there's probably a plan to clean this up in motion. Remember how he even gave, it's not a coincidence that Feintelingem was cross-examined by Sibanda for that long. It's not a coincidence. It's not. Now that everything is unfolding like this, how long was Feintelingem being examined by Sibanda? Can you guys recall? It was over a month. It was a very long time.
Emphasizing the mastermind and the connection between the accused.
And we kept wondering, but why? Where is Advocate Baloyi? What is going on? Where is Advocate Baloyi? Sometimes he didn't show up to court sometimes. He had other things he had to attend to. And to me, I could already see that there's a reason why Sibanda was given Feintelingem to cross-examine. And it has nothing to do with anything that we think it might have to do with. To us, Feintelingem is a brand new witness. But Advocate Baloyi already saw that PDF. Already, he had seen it. And already, he was allegedly, in my opinion, coming with a comeback strategy.
It was not even a comeback strategy. In my opinion, the aim was to use Sibanda, because Sibanda's cross-examination, they don't have a
structure.
Source, if you ask me. They don't have a source. They have basically nothing.
Yeah.
It's someone who just speaks and speaks and
waste
speaks
time,
and speaks.
Drag the time as much as possible.
In my opinion, hoping that it would hide a lot of discrepancies, in my opinion, which it did not.
No, it did not.
Ended up highlighting and giving time to the defense. To actually create something out of it. It did not work in that manner. I mean, Baloyi's evidence, if the evidence is clear, let me put it like this. Baloyi would never put Ginindi and give him to Sibanda.
Never.
Because there, it's we need to get going. You understand?
And you have to give it to Advocate Baloyi. He knows how to get going. So was he crossing his fingers and hoping that the defense would not see the mistakes?
We would get past that part, because if that part is actually passed, because now look at this. They promised us that the mastermind might be arrested. The mastermind is now moving further and further and further away.
Far from being arrested at this point.
And one might ask, why was Kelly actually dropped as a state witness? Such things are a clear indication, in my opinion, that they might have seen something Then from that thing, they realized that actually we are not going to be able to put Kelly here and to say he must admit that this is her number while it's not her number. Or this is so and so while it's not so and so.
Sure.
So are you telling me that they took Kelly's number, they downloaded it, they couldn't see Atamafuka's number?
And I saw someone who did a test and did the screenshot with Truecaller, and it said Atamafokati, but Steyn's Truecaller did not say.
Oh man, no.
This is so embarrassing.
Unfortunately, you cannot call it what it is. When you see a mouse in that court, you must call it a cat.
You must call it a cat, even though you can see it's a mouse. You must say, oh, maybe because it is a cat.
Because the judge will correct you.
Oh, this is where the law frustrates me. This is where the law frustrates me. And then on top of that, I'm thinking of the incident or the time around the incident. Remember, Kelly had a performance on the Saturday at the Dorothy Nyembe, and it was said it was Arthur's can do stuff. So you can imagine how many phone calls were happening between herself and Arthur at the time.
Yes, it makes sense. It just makes sense. There is no other explanation that you can ever have. It makes sense that Arthur would have a conversation with Kelly, an artist who's going to perform in his whatever show that was event.
Yo, I'm done. I'm over these people. Like, why?
To prove that Baloyi actually is moving this thing away from Steyn, he even said he caught Mshololo asked about how the cell phone, how the cell numbers were received by Steyn, and then Steyn said through the investigating officer and his own search. This is where the problem is. Said, clarify that. What do you mean by that? And then he said we received it from the service provider and investigating officer. Yeah, so that means he could not manipulate numbers. He got them from people. So those people are going to take accountability for those numbers, whether they are wrong or correct. Basically, Steyn is moving away from this whole mess because it's not going to look good for him to go to court
in retirement
for someone or for something that maybe he had no knowledge of. I would assume.
Sure. Well, Mnisi also said that it is very late for the state to come and say Mr. Steyn must come and address certain issues which came out during Ms. Ventelengem's testimony. All the state is doing now is damage control. Damage control, Mtagabao. So Mnisi said that if the state can only recall him for purposes of new evidence, you can't recall a witness to clarify. It's unheard of. It is embarking on a process to do reputational damage. And he rectified it to say damage control.
Damage control, yes.
This is nothing else but an endeavor by the state to do damage control.
Yes.
The state should have picked these discrepancies up during preparations for this case. The exercise is to remove this embarrassment that is their table due to the discrepancies picked up. Or the embarrassment that is at their table due to the discrepancies that were picked up. Dillingham was even at pains to say that she smells a rotten rat. She was at pains to admit that there was fraud. Mnisi said that I submit there's no legal basis for this application. It's baseless, flimsy. It would be procedurally wrong, unjustifiable, no matter how much reasoning. While Malo, on the other hand, said that there is no reason to recall Steyn. It can be done at the closure of this case. There's no such procedure that the state wants to embark on. Malo said that the suggestion that has been made by the state is that accused number 5 and Kelly Kumalo were the masterminds of this offense, such that Mr. Ntuli procured the services of the other accused. Isn't that the initial narrative? initial one to say that the connection was between accused number 5 and Kelly Khumalo. And accused number 5, because of the cases that he's convicted for, he is known, or already there's confirmation that he is an Inkabi. Do you understand? And because of that connection, now the other arrested, the other accused are sitting there. The connection is with accused number 5. So Khumalo said it was in fact Mr. Arthur Mafokate on the 2nd of August 2014 that called Miss Kelly Khumalo, and on the 15th of October it was the deceased Senzo that called Miss Kelly Khumalo. So Khumalo said that the recalling of Steyn will render the whole trial unfair, also for the accused.
Yes.
He said that the state's application is devoid of any substance and needs to be dismissed.
Yes. In a proper
fair
court.
in a sober court. In a sober court. But in this court,
Sfiso Sindani, thank you on behalf of Ansi Keimo. See, you have gifted her Mzansi Reality membership. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Ansike Moyo, a gift.
After gifting us also.
Yes,
you
a
get
gift.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then Mshololo was next after the long adjournment. And with Mshololo, what I picked up is that there were a lot of interruptions from the judge. She was getting interrupted quite a lot.
Yeah.
It was like she was being disturbed from reaching the
end goal.
You know, it was like she's not been given a chance to finish
assured,
a paragraph.
The man came knowing these people. Chololo being provoked, she would react. I'm happy to see that she's growing in a different direction now of understanding what that court is capable of, and not giving in to what the court might be expecting her to do, in a sense of not, in my opinion, not reacting.
No, she did not react.
Yeah.
She was a rock.
I could see she was getting annoyed.
She was, but she kept it together.
There were things that were thrown now and then, because there are always things that are thrown. Let me put it like this. In my opinion, Mshololo is your typical criminal lawyer.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yes.
She might have done some other
types of law, family law, civil cases.
But I mean, her English is not the best, in my opinion. It's okay. It's an English that is okay. So someone in that court is amused by that. Even Baloyi at some point has.
Yeah, they throw jabs at the
thrown
English.
a jab in that.
But we don't care.
We don't care about that. I mean, law is law.
When it comes to people's lives on the line, English can sit down.
There's always someone who's trying to get into her skin.
Undermine, irritate her. I mean, roll her.
She's a graduate from UKZN, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's enough for us. That is enough for us. Whether at some point you would refer to Pinky as he, it's okay.
He or
we
she.
also do that.
I mean, do you remember even with attorney TT, as well as advocate D for himself?
Yes.
English is not important when you're in a criminal.
In fact, as long as we understand you.
You need to understand
as
the
long
law.
As you are understood.
That's what makes you pass law school. You must understand the law. You must understand the law. It doesn't. Questions in law school are not theoretical. They are more like application. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're more like application. That the way to the end. If you got the degree, you end it. You did not go and copy and paste. It doesn't work like that when you're studying law. You have to understand the context of the law and apply it. So,
so there are
when it
people
comes to criminal
who
law,
went to certain schools that remember when the judge was very impressed by the former schoolmate.
or English,
English. Where did you go to school?
the English.
Well, I can hear.
Are you an English teacher?
I can hear.
Are we in English? You know the way these
At
people
this
love this
age.
English. Even the owners of the language are not
age.
in love with the language like that.
At this age, when your hair is getting gray, you are still worried about where you went to.
You know what the painful thing? The owners of this language.
They butcher it. We work with them, some of them. They butcher it when it gets time. They even use, if they, in a meeting, someone would throw a word, and then if there is something like that in English, and then we'll be laughing all over. Yeah, but it's okay, right?
Yes. They don't care for it like how these people that are older and are more learned and more educated care for their language. The owners of the language are not for the language like that. As long as they can communicate and hear each other, of which is part of the witnessing that I witnessed when it comes to other courts abroad. It doesn't work like that. In the West, they are free. They can say whatever they want to say. They say it.
It's fine. We're not here to, but all I'm
But
just
then the
saying is
English, the obsession with English is irritating when people's lives are on the line. Do you understand that feeling of sitting there in the accused box, and at the time you probably have not done the crime, and a judge is busy obsessing about what kind of English your lawyer is speaking? Put yourself there just for 5 minutes and tell me you wouldn't be frustrated.
let's get it over and done with.
Well then, Mshololo read section 167 of the CPA, or the Criminal Procedure Act. It said the court may at any stage of criminal proceedings examine the person or other person than the accused who has subpoenaed to attend such proceedings, who is in attendance of such proceedings, and may recall and examine any person, including an accused already examined in the proceedings, and the court shall examine or recall and re-examine the person concerned if his evidence appears to the court essential to the just decision of the case. So Mshololo said that in this case, it is not the court that is inviting the recalling in of this witness, and it has not appeared to the court that in his evidence, Colonel Steyn, it is essential to the just decision of the case. What she was trying to say was that it is not in the instance of this court that the recalling of Colonel Steyn be applied. It is the state's. Therefore, the application of this section is misplaced. It will only be applicable if the instance of the court to recall a witness in order to re-examine, or for whatever reason, the court may decide, after the state has observed that there are discrepancies in the state's case, the state now wants to recall the witness who has already testified. Mshololo said that she wanted to remind the court that the same state has submitted before the court that Colonel Steyn is no longer available. He went on retirement, and Lieutenant Colonel Veiws was called to come and testify or lead evidence and to take over the work which had been done by Colonel Steyn because of his unavailability. Isn't this amazing how all of a sudden Steyn could now come out of his retirement to testify, but then he's coming. So the judge said that the state, did they ever say that? Did they ever state that Steyn was unavailable? And now I become dizzy because I'm like, but what was the reason? Isn't he the one who was even encouraging for the defense to let it go? Because the defense was hammering on Steyn coming back. Do you guys remember that? So now all of a sudden he's smangele now, and he's not knowing. He's like, when did it ever stay there? But you allowed for Steyn not to be recalled. In fact, you said there's nothing wrong with Veiws coming in and standing in for him.
They are colleagues.
So he said that Colonel Steyn, the fact that Colonel Steyn is no longer available, Did the state ever say that? Mshololo then said that was the reasons that were advanced when Lieutenant Colonel Veiws was called. The judge said that now the state is saying that they have spoken to Steyn according to them, but last week they said he was sick, so he doesn't know the position. Mshololo said that the gist of what she was saying is that the state is now saying that Colonel Steyn is now available. Surprisingly, in inverted commas. That surprisingly, I felt it. So Mshololo said that as much as the court may be inclined in granting the state's application, the judge asked Mshololo, how does she know that? Otherwise, why would he listen to the argument?
Mistake. It was so, in my opinion, correct. It was correct. No, it's a nice mistake to make, actually, if you ask me.
You are inclined to decide in favor of the state.
Yeah, it's a very nice, in my opinion, correct mistake. I mean, you can always, I withdraw what, you can always take it back. I take it back.
And for those who may not understand why she threw that jab, there have been instances as we have been analyzing this
I don't
case.
think it was a jab. I don't think it was a jab. It was an intended situation.
Okay.
I think he was thinking out loud.
Or she was thinking out loud.
She was thinking out loud.
And I don't blame her. Here's the reason why. We have been in this incidents before.
Preparing beforehand.
We saw instructions being given to go and prepare, and arguments will be made. And then what ends up happening is that the arguments end up not happening, but the judgment was there. You know what happened today? There has been a prior incident where something similar to what happened today happened, where the defense were not given time to prepare. You know what they did the last time, actually? They sat on it, they relaxed, and they didn't prepare because they thought something was yet to happen before they start arguing. Turns out when they rock up on Monday morning, they had to argue.
And he was done.
He was ready with the judgment.
With the judgment.
Yes. Full judgment, I think 2 or 3 pages long. It was already done and dusted, ready to be delivered. So we have witnessed things like that in this trial, for those who may not get the context of Mshololo's thinking aloud. Well, the judge quickly reacted to this after Mshololo said it, and he was like, how does you know that? You know, how do you know that? Otherwise, why would I listen to the argument if I'm inclined to grant the application? I mean, it's simple. Well, then, Mshololo said, that's why I'm saying in the event of...
In an event, you feel like you need to give them what they want. This is not correct. It's making matters worse.
Well, the judge said, no, are you saying I've prejudged this? Please, let's not make allegations. Let's not make such allegations, okay? Well, Mshololo said, I'm not saying the court has already granted. I'm saying in the event that the court is already inclined to grant the application by the state, my submission is that the constitutional right of the accused to a fair trial will be violated by the granting of that application for the recalling of the witness, Colonel Steyn, on the following reasons. Reason number 1, the application to recall Steyn is for 2 aspects. The witness is recalled not to come and lead new evidence, but to come and rectify his own affidavit and evidence, because Colonel Steyn has already testified. The question is, why was this clarity not sought at the stage when Colonel Steyn testified? Because the discrepancies that Colonel Steyn is now called to come and clarify the discrepancies on the state's case between the evidence of Colonel Steyn and that of Miss Pinky Fine-Tillingam of Vodacom. Okay, so in my opinion, they want to clean, the evidence. So the judge asked Mshololo, what is an AMA notebook? Out of nowhere, random.
What a question.
Out of out of the air, like it just
Steyn-
came like a wind.
Steyn comes here and testify about that thing, and Baloyi, knowing Baloyi, he would ask about these silly things. What is MIA? What? Obviously, that
How
was
would I know
questioned.
that? How
That
would I
was
know that?
questioned by Baloyi. Okay, obviously, if we to reverse the record,
Yes.
that was questioned by Baloyi and what was clarified by Steyn. Now it is being used again for the basis that Steyn should come back. In fact, I have an outcome that is totally different for how the judge is going to bring Steyn back.
Okay.
The judge is going to bring Steyn back on the basis of not understanding. What Baloyi submitted might be overlooked, but Baloyi might be assisted on another way where the judge brings, that is the last case that Baloyi used out of the three that I had. The third one is where the judge can bring the witness back.
Because he wants clarity.
Because he does not understand some of the things. So I think Baloyi is going to get his way, come hell or high way. Be it the judge says that I do not understand that so-called, this is where I caught this so-called database or something like that.
A notebook case data.
So that now the question, you see, how am I supposed to understand that? That is the judge saying I do not understand some of the things that Steyn testified about.
Because there's even a point where he was
kept on
asking Shololo.
emphasizing.
Yes, he was even asking Shololo, do you understand that?
He
and
kept
she
on
said yes.
emphasizing during this case that a judge at any point in time, and I'm hoping that I'm repeating his word, at any point in time, a judge
can recall
any
witness.
of these witnesses.
All right. And that's why Shololo's mistake.
So they submitted all the defense they submitted.
In the
they
event
defeated Baloyi, in my opinion.
that you recall.
But they cannot defeat the judge. That's why I think this man is coming back.
He's coming
to
back.
clarify, inverted commas.
He's coming back. Come hello high waters. He's coming back. He then read from Steyn's evidence stating that after he received the information from Brigadier Gininda, he then threw it into the AMA data case, and then the linkages came with the cell phone downloads. This is the judge, right? So to me, it felt like this is an attempt to exonerate Steyn, to try and not really Steyn, but Gininda as well. Say that a mistake could have possibly happened, But Mshololo was being interrupted, Hashem. She would go and then now she's being asked about AMA data as if she's a data cell phone analyst. She's being asked tricky questions.
That was not even a tricky question. It was a way in which the judge was trying to bring himself into the equation by saying, I did not understand that, so I want him to come back. That's basically, if the judge, I think Mshololo was not even supposed to answer that. He was not even supposed to pause for that. I think he was supposed to say, we were all explain this thing. If my lord is not clear, please check the records. The records should clarify you.
Wow. Man, that's the thing. She was not given even a chance to think.
No, she tried to labor that point by saying that she does not understand initially, in sort of an agreement with the judge, and then later she said she understands.
Because maybe she could catch it now.
Where the judge was going, yes.
Sure. Mshololo said that if Colonel Steyn has testified and responded like the court has just referred, why is it necessary to call Steyn? The judge said, no, it's what Steyn says. And Mshololo said, because he has already mentioned the process that he engaged. Apparently, the state doesn't understand that process, is what the judge was saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And I kept thinking to myself as he's saying this, I don't want to lie. I said, when did the state ever admit to that?
no, it has no bearing. In fact, what the judge is going to do is to say, I'm putting my foot down. I'm bringing this person.
Then he should just say so, because this
What
is
do you
weird.
think he was preparing?
I had no idea where he was going.
What do you think is there on those preparations?
I think it's to allow Steyn to come back, but then the shaping of the judgment, the reasons, the justification
Let's wait and see what happens tomorrow.
of why Steyn must be recalled.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he was working on today with the defense's argument.
But he's gonna put himself there, in my opinion. Somewhere, somehow, he's gonna be there as the main reason also
Why Steyn
why
is being
Steyn must be
recalled.
called back.
So apparently the state doesn't understand the process. The judge asked Mshololo if she understands that process. And Mshololo said she does. Mshololo then continued to say that the state says wherein she sets out the transaction for the 2nd of August 2014 at 22:40, and on the 15th of October, those are the two transactions referring to the phone calls that they're saying accused number 5 and Kelly Kumalo had made to each other. That's an issue, and the calls received from other parties. Colonel Steyn locates the two calls by accused number 5 to Ms. Kelly Kumalo at the same time as those reflected in section 205 as testified by Ms. Van Dillingham. She said her response is that Ms. Van Dillingham, in her affidavit, raised a contradiction to the evidence of Colonel Steyn in respect of these two transactions, and the explanations have been given by both witnesses respectively without repeating their evidence. Colonel Steyn and Ms. Van Dillingham from the Vodacom shop, not the Vodacom shop.
Guys, please like the video, and Tavis Tole, thank you for watching the ad. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Thank you.
Please like the video, guys.
Guys.
Let's press that button. We are on 885 people who are currently viewing us. Can we at least push through 500? Thank you very much for being with us today.
The Vodacom shop.
Yeah, it's a shop.
In other words, a clear contradiction between the state's case has been identified and displayed during the cross-examination, and during re-examination this issue was not raised, and now the state wants to recall the witness to come and clarify a material contradiction which has been displayed before this trial. It has been perceived that accused number 5 had called the number belonging to Ms. Kelly Kumalo according to Colonel Steyn's evidence, and according to Ms. Van Dillingham from Vodacom, she says she cannot confirm that they do not have such records in Vodacom, and further revealed that a PDF format of section 205 where she can only comment on that rather than the Excel which was furnished by the state to the defense. Remember now that the defense got the Excel format as evidence. Not the PDF one. The PDF one came with Van Dillingham now as she was testifying.
They do have both.
Now they do have both, but at the time,
They showed
Steyn
the
only
stains was the
showed
truth.
Excel, yes.
Yes. Lou Mwale saying, I don't think Baloyi was happy with Rata disclosing Steyn's downloading and analysis system because that's what they were planning to throw the defense off guard. Now they will go Google it. So, and Sizom Gaga is saying, tomorrow, do expect Steyn to be very much waiting outside the court as Baloyi is going to come and say, my lord,
Season
yeah, I think we now understand the process. We are all in line with what ought to happen. All the time, every time, all the time. We know, we almost can predict what is coming, isn't it? Isn't it nice?
He'll be waiting outside. My lord.
My lord, I would like to put here to this court that if in an event the court decides to let Steyn come and clarify the issues, he's indeed, my lord, we have organized for him to come all the way from Cape Town and is waiting outside, my lord.
Aye, it's a movie. It's a drama series. Well, the judge said, was it not utilized by Colonel Steyn? So, yeah, here it felt like he was trying to take away the heat from the state, you know. But Mshalala said, we think it was used by Steyn. The Excel we had for the first time from Ms. Veiws that Excel was not the document that they have furnished to the police. The judge said that she never finished that. She finished the PDF, and her evidence was that she doesn't know how Steyn juggles this program. Like you can intentionally, you can hear that the intentional to misunderstand what Mshololo was trying to say was already there. It was like
the intention to misunderstand, yes.
You know, disturb her thought process. Just interrupt her for the sake of interrupting, because that's not what Mshololo said, but somehow the judge interpreted it as such. And then he conjures up the numbers which are alleged to be fraudulent. She doesn't know, she can't explain it because she didn't use that system. Well, Mshololo said, so it means Colonel Steyn produced a fraudulent document to this court. And the judge was like, no, how can you say that? No one knows how Steyn did it. You also do not know how he did it.
How dare you attack my... How dare?
I don't know how an Excel system works. After it extracts information from a PDF, I don't know how it works.
Vasey? Not gonna say the other way. You know, I remember your mama always says, Vasey? I don't know what hit me and fed. Yeah, no, we're getting there. How dare you say that? How dare?
No, you cannot say that. You cannot say that Steyn produced a fraudulent document. How dare you? Mshalala then said whether we cannot be able to make submissions that it was a fraudulent document, Section 205 record, but it had been changed. It is not the original as it was sent by Ms. Veiws to the state. The judge said we don't know. Why do we want to act dumb when it is like, why do we do that? Why is it the law? Like, I don't understand this whole dummifying when it's convenient situation. Like, why now are we acting like what is a cat is not a cat but a mouse? Why are we doing that? Can someone explain to me?
Yeah, there's nothing to explain.
Well, the judge said, recall that host told us that when he uses a certain system, the numbers don't get filtrated to the next page. It's unlawful what he did. He was not supposed to change those numbers. The judge said that Mshololo was not listening to what he was saying. He got upset at this point and he said that Mnisi asked about the gap between the numbers in page 7 and halfway the information contained was not similar to the other page. Let me tell you about that SABC cameraman, okay? He set his lens straight to Mnisi's face when the judge was saying that, and Mnisi looked absolutely shocked. He looked like he didn't know what the judge was talking about. Mnisi looked shocked. He looked like, huh? Me? I said that? When? How? Well, he said that it was an explanation, you know, and they all did not know. And Mshololo said then if that explanation has been accepted by this court, the judge then said he had never accepted any explanation. We are gigamanj. But judge, what are we defending here? Because there's a lot of defending and deflecting, but what are we defending is the question. You know, what is the judge defending? Well, he said, I had not yet even started going over the evidence. I have never. Why is he defending? You know? And in my opinion, his questions were made to just disrupt Mshololo's train of thought because he knew that he did not give them enough time to prepare. So most of her argument was probably not fully written down in full context. That's my opinion. I don't think he was also ready for the fact that Mshololo would remain calm. I think maybe he was provoking a reaction that would otherwise mean, I'm going to report you. Right? Mshololo rephrased her statement to say that if Kenel's host gave this explanation, then what is the need to recall Kenel Steyn? The judge then said, no, these are two different concepts. How are they different? Because you are the one who brought host when the matter of Steyn is the one that is currently being argued.
Doesn't have to say that they are two different. I heard that there were two different scenarios that you were making. The question is, why are you making two different scenarios to fit the current situation, and yet you don't want someone to dwell on them because there are two different scenarios? So basically, we are just wasting time.
You know, and he said that Steyn's evidence pertains to two numbers, one in October and one in August, communication allegedly between accused number 5 and Kelly Khumalo. Mshololo was arguing as well, saying that the gist of the matter is the contradiction, but the judge got upset, saying that why does no one want to listen? Does he want to listen is the question.
Well, in my opinion, no.
He's the one who brought up this whole thing to try and justify Steyn's discrepancy. You know, he was literally trying to gaslight Mshololo again.
If there is one person I would like to be called back, yes, indeed. If I was to choose one person to be called back, Zung. Only Zung.
Can the defense apply for him to be recalled?
I want to hear something.
He should be recalled. There's too many contradictions.
It was all moving well in how the evidence has been given. Like the issue that the clarity about the cell phone moving and all that was given later after Zung has testified about these people being in one place. The clarity that comes after those who arrested these guys, and then later Kenendi, it was all going well until Pinky. Until Pinky.
Cell phone service provider.
The order was messed up by Pinky. Now they have to go and revisit things and all that, but Pinky
we're handing in maps.
Yeah, Pinky did not come to the party.
Well, Mshololo then asked to proceed with her line of her submission so that she doesn't get distracted along the way. The judge said that the court doesn't want to get distracted. He wants to follow every argument. He said he's the type of judge who sits and he's not the type of judge who sits and says, yeah. But you're not. You're not that type of judge at all. So Mshololo said the problem is that when she's jumping all over her submissions, she gets distracted. And the judge said, I see. And Mshololo was like, thank you. She was very calm, guys. I must give her a round of applause. Because that situation is enough to get a reaction out of anybody. And you can tell that that is what the aim was. Mshololo said that this is why this application is being brought in order for Kenel Steyn to come and clarify the nature of these two calls that accused number 5 is said to have made to Ms. Kelly Khumalo as to whether they were made using data internet, whether they form part of incoming or outgoing calls. Do you think there's any motive here to make it seem like the calls came from an internet source, aka WhatsApp or something else?
But it was not picked up by Vodacom because Vodacom, the usage of data and all that, they are able to pick them up.
Maybe that's the aim there. They're trying to clean up Steyn.
Yeah, that's where they're trying to go to. But it's not going to help them in any case because then Vodacom must alarm the issue of data usage.
So the judge was now moaning like he was irritated. I don't know how many of you guys picked this up. Well, Mshololo said that when Kenel Steyn was testifying, he made it clear that the nature of the transaction that was made between the two calls, it was an incoming and outgoing call data, and it was made clear that accused number 5 called the number used by Kelly Khumalo. That's the evidence that she could show before this court under the evidence of Kenel Steyn. And the explanation explanation or clarity of these two transactions was made by Ms. Fine-Dillingham, who confirmed the nature of the transactions that were made to the cell phone of Ms. Kelly Khumalo. There's no need of recalling Steyn to come and repeat what has already been placed by Ms. Fine-Dillingham from Vodacom Shop. The judge came to Ms. Fine-Dillingham's defense to say that she did not prepare the notebook. Her evidence is very clear. The PDF information which comes from the internet onto their server, or ati our server, angazi judge ungenaphi lapho, but he said our server, it's immutable, it cannot be changed. Now I'm surprised that there's an allegation that there's misinformation that emanates from the PDF, finds its way to the Excel program, that when you investigate the Excel program, you find that these two numbers are different. Ms. Pinky Fine-Dillingham said that she cannot explain that because she never worked with the Excel. Mshololo then said the point that she was trying to bring to the attention of the court is that this witness is being called to come and clarify the nature of these two calls that accused number 5 is said to have made to Ms. Kelly Khumalo. She said her submission is that Ms. Fine-Dillingham has clarified from the PDF section 205 the nature of these two calls, and the judge said that they are not similar. Mshololo said that Ms. Fine-Dillingham has explained the nature of these two calls and the role of Lieutenant Colonel Steyn as the ANA data analyst may have been misconceived. He testified as follows in his cross-examination. He testified that, and I quote, "I can also mention that I have received information from Brigadier Gininda. I throw it into the AMB notebook database, and the linkages come with section 205s. So the problem is that this trial, we're sitting with two different section 205 records, the one from the service provider and the one from the police. The judge said that the police don't have 205. The police rigid the 205 matter into a system called Excel. So the police are the ones who turn the PDF into an Excel. In other words, they don't control any telephone call. They're not privy or subject to the internet. It's only Vodacom which does that in terms of Section 15 of the Monitoring Communications Act. The police get everything from Vodacom, like Ms. Pinky was testifying to, and the access mechanism is to get senior police officers, get them clearance certificates to access that information. So now the question would be, who is that person that has access, if not Brigadier Gininda in this case?
Access to what?
To what the judge was talking about, that there's a system of the police.
They did say who the people that would be given. That is not an issue. The issue is who turned what to what. Who turned PDF to Excel.
The judge doesn't want them to go there. Mshololo then said Colonel Steyn has already explained and responded and has clarified. The judge asked that he never showed this court the AMB notebook, and Mshololo said he had it at the time. If the AM book was in his possession at the time, and now he's being recalled to reveal the content of the AMB book, then that's prejudicial to her client and is unprocedural and irregular. So if he's being called to come and testify that, however, I have not heard the state raising that submission. So in question, his role became clear when he said that his investigation is ongoing and giving the analyst some of the downloads. Even Section 205, he used that information to try and identify the person who associated with the numbers which they found from the downloads. Advocate Zandile Mshololo for accused number 5 said that she wanted to expand on this and she wanted to reflect and to refer and double check the transcript records regarding what the state had referred to it in this paragraph of heads of argument, and that if she can only be given the opportunity in the future, then she would be able to argue on this. The judge asked her, "What future are you talking about?" Well, Mshololo said that she finished her submissions, but, she wishes to expand, and I think I commend her for asking for more time because it was required. In fact, they should have been given the overnight to prepare, but it ended up being this impromptu. The judge said that she wanted, if she wants to refer, she must tell him that he will adjourn. No person must come and tell him that he has been or not been given the full opportunity to represent their client or to lay their case. Well, the court adjourned because of that. And it was an hour earlier than usual. So tomorrow they'll be coming back and Advocate Msholo will probably be continuing where she left off. So guys, I'm done. It's a wrap for me.
Thank you. Let's like the video and let us keep those calls coming. We have the time for you to take some calls, maybe 2 or 3, 4. Let us hear what you guys have to say on WhatsApp or anywhere else.
Today was an explosive day. Today is a day where I actually want to hear from you guys. Today I want to hear from you guys, and I will patiently wait as you guys find your way to those phones and you call us and let us know what you thought about today's proceedings. They were too late.
Someone is saying, what are the possibilities of Steyn unavailing himself when called due to seriousness of his health? That's what someone is saying on WhatsApp. But let's hear what you guys have to say. And if you don't have anything to say, mina vele to thank you very much if that is the case. But for now, I'll wait for your calls. Just thanking people that have joined and people that have actually gifted us with something there and there. Actually, last month we wouldn't be here, Emily. Remember someone who donated to us. Thank you very much for your donation.
Thank you.
Them and the members. We see you guys even in the days of dark. Thank you very much. That's why we work this hard to come to you. Why is the case continuing even when the state hasn't proven even one thing? Hey, Asas. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, guys.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
We are good. We're good.
Good. I've got a list of things to mention here.
Please try to summarize them.
Let me summarize it. Okay. The first issue I had with today was the 205s. When did Steyn get the 205s? Because according to Pinky, she gave the 205s to the NPA in May this year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But Steyn testified last year.
He testified last year, and he said he has the 205s.
Where he kept saying 205, 205, 205.
We don't know what Steyn was referring to, and he said on record that he has the 205s. He said it, I remember.
Yeah. So that the defense at some point, I'm not sure how they when they if Steyn comes back or whatever, that needs to be clarified.
Yes.
Where did he get the numbers from? Then it goes back to what Mr. Anonymous was saying, that it's all going to go back to the SAPS, and we don't know what the SAPS are going to blame. We don't know, because it's a whole big organization. We don't know what they're going to say. Right? And then another thing is that with all these, with those two numbers, those two phone calls that are being argued, someone must be direct. The judge actually should have been the one to ask this question. Ask the state. So if these numbers are not the same, are you guys admitting that number 5 didn't call Kelly? Simple question. It was a simple question, and then we can move on. You know, they can argue about this and this, but now is the state admitting that number 5 did not call Kelly? That's all we want to know.
That's all we want to know. Yeah.
The other thing is that in terms of the application, I was sort of against them doing the application. To reject it. They should just let it happen, in my opinion, because now, as they are arguing, they are showing the state their hand. Right. I'll give an example. There's a part where Mnisi was going on about credibility of Steyn.
Yes.
He didn't have to say that. He could have said that later on. Now when the state is preparing, they're gonna go back and find a way to fight that, because now they know that defense is now gonna attack the credibility of Steyn. He could have left it, and then later on in arguments when the case is closing, if ever this case gets closed, we don't know if ever this case is gonna finish. We might be unalived by that time as well. We don't know. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, So that's the other issue. There was a part where the judge was disagreeing or fighting with Mshololo about whether the state said Steyn was unavailable and retired.
Yes.
We all know that's what they said.
That's what they said. Exactly.
It's like so with the adjournment they have for today, that the defense should go back and find these things and say, hey, judge, here's a transcript. Here's what Baloyi said. Here's why Steyn is not coming back. Here it is. So that we don't know why now he's fighting, because this judge is very selective in terms of what he remembers and what he doesn't remember. Because he always comes up, no, I listen. But all of a sudden now he doesn't know that Steyn was unavailable because he had retired. The other important issue here is that Mr. Baloyi, Mr. I've never lost a case. We can see why he's never lost a case now. As an officer of the court, why were they not open about that discrepancy?
Why
did they sit on that information?
Yes.
And even when you look at when Pinky was saying it, even their statement, Pinky, when she was admitting the discrepancy, it wasn't obvious what she was saying. She had to be probed, and they said, "Oh no, it's fine. No, we found it. I told them." But why was only with Mshololo? Number five was cross-examining. Then that's when it came out. No one mentioned it any time before that until Mshololo brought that up. There must be some sort of law against the state hiding such information.
Yes.
Some obstruction of justice or something. They should have been upfront with that information. They hid that information. Whoever mixed up the numbers, they keep mentioning it might have been an error, where judge was saying it might have been an error. What error makes an error for 10 numbers to fit number 5? There's no error. They put his number there. There's no error there, I think this has been mentioned before previously. Why did they lead Pinky on Steyn's evidence? And then the defense, when they ask about Steyn's evidence, now they say, no, she can't answer on Steyn's evidence. Meanwhile, they're the ones who brought up Steyn's evidence to be used by Pinky in the first place. Then the final point is, Mnisi said a lot of things, nice speaking for the cameras, whatever, emotional, everything he said. But the most important thing that he brought up, and I hope the judge noticed this, he might ignore it, is that it's actually the court who can bring an application at the end of all the arguments for Steyn to come back, not to Baloyi at this point in time. That's the most important point that he brought up. Anyway, thank you for your time, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Right. So I think I'm going to be able to summarize this. Let me see. If you guys keep on calling, Emily is on the break. The reason behind the judge giving the defense only the hour to prepare for the rebuttal of the Baloyi's heads of argument was simple because of you limit their time was simple. If you limit their time, they won't have enough time to go back to the record of House testimony where they were adamant that Steyn was unavailable and on the retirement in the Cape. Yes, and Mshololo bought that time, I would assume. Number 2, to give them less time to research the case law cited by Baloyi on his heads of argument, which has no relevance, if you ask me, all the cases that were submitted, including Rob versus Hepworth. To make them, they've been using that case as option B of multiple choice. Option D, if you do not know the answer, use Rob versus Hepworth. To make them look unprepared, as in the words of Advocate Mnisi, flimsy. it's quite worrying that the judge writes the state's writes when the state is presenting its case, but not writing on the single weight when the defense is preparing. That is someone on WhatsApp. Hello, Mzansi. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Anu. How are you doing?
Morning. How are you?
Oh, my brother, I'm well, but after watching that case yesterday, I'm so angry. I'm so upset about what happened. I'm actually just defeated. The circus that was unfolding yesterday in that courtroom was just so shocking. You know, there was a lot of incompetence that was on display, biasness, you know, everything on display yesterday. You know, I attend court a lot through my job, and I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Yeah.
What I saw yesterday was just horrific. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yes.
You know, this judge was interrupting Mshololo so many times. The lady couldn't even just make her point and just finish. You know, this guy was just interrupting her left, right, and center. And then I thought to myself, like, is this judge the one who brought the case before the court, or is it Baloyi and colleagues?
Yes.
You know, Baloyi was quiet, he was sitting there, but this judge was the one who was just like going back and forth with Mshololo. And it's obvious that this man obviously has something against this lady. And if he, you know, he has a problem with Mshololo, it's going to be very difficult for him to be fair. You know,
Yes.
so if he has a problem with her, why is he presiding over this case with this lady present in the courtroom? That's the first question that I have. You know, because obviously his own personal reasons are interfering with him doing his job properly. Because every time when this woman stands up to say something, or his whole demeanor changes. He's got facial expressions. He's making funny sounds. Like yesterday, you know, he was making a yawn. He was yawning. There was a very loud yawn that was audible through the microphones.
Yes.
You know, because he was a sign of irritation, and he's not hiding the fact that this woman is irritating him and rubbing him the wrong way. And if that's the case and he's feeling that, then why is he presiding over the case? Because then he's not allowing this lady to represent her client fully the way she's supposed to.
Yes.
You know, so that on its own is a problem that I have. And then another thing also, you know, he was trying to get Baloyi out of a pickle so many times. Like, he would be trying to, you know, pushing to try and justify why he will grant the application for Steyn to come back.
Yes.
You know, and some of the things that he was saying didn't make sense. Like, for instance, why would, because we were saying, oh, it could be a mistake that those numbers look different on the Excel file, right? Why would a PDF format that is being converted into an Excel file change? Because if it's a 5, if your number is 5 on the PDF file,
yes.
even if you convert it to an Excel file, the number should still remain to be a 5.
Yes.
Why would it change?
There's no reason.
And it looks like this trial is a trial by ambush as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, Baloyi, you know, shamelessly stands up in the courtroom and says, oh, but I sent the document to them last night. So these poor lawyers, are they not supposed to have a day off from work?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you send a file at night at what time? At night at what time? So these people, how much time are they given to prepare? And then they come into the courtroom and they just says, oh no, you're going to argue today. I'm not going to give you any more time. How fair is this? When Baloyi has known since Friday what he's going to do, he's had the entire weekend to prepare.
Yes.
And then on Sunday, when he's all ready, he then just sends the file over to these people at night. Guys, come on, man. This is just insane, man. It you know, I'm starting to question this old man's cognitive functioning. To be honest with you, like, why did they go and get this guy out of retirement? Are there no judges in South Africa that could have done the job?
That's a question that should be directed, I think, to Lambo and the rest.
And as South African people, are we just sitting here watching this nonsense unfolding? Is it because we think that this will never happen to us or any one of our loved ones? And it's going to be sad because when it happens to us, it's going to be behind closed doors. SABC will not be broadcasting for the world to see how we are being treated. Do you know what I mean? Like, what is going on in South Africa? Come on, guys. What's going on in our country? This is ridiculous. This should not be allowed.
We are used to
This
this.
is so upsetting.
Mm.
You know, but anyway, I'm not going to keep going on. I'll give other people a chance to call and have their say. You know, I agree with the previous call and everything that he said. And to all my fellow Mzansi reality viewers and listeners, can we please just continue to like the video and share it and just keep the super chat so that we can keep the candle burning on this channel.
Thank you.
I love you, Mr. Ano, and you take care, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Love you too. That's it. Let's hear what others are saying, guys. The judge can never say he needs clarity because every time when the witness is finished being cross-examined, he asks questions as clarity that they should also include that in their heads of argument. Oh, well, yes. My question is, if the SAPS are provided with the PDF, what is the reason to convert it to Excel? The moment you change PDF to Excel, you're already manipulating it. The answer is in the convecting. Why the convecting? Well, they would say they wanted to analyze it. The system can only analyze Excel file. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mr. Anonymous. Hello. Ukaba yenkosi lona.
Yes,
Ninjani kodwa?
Siyaphila mfowethu.
Yeah, this is problematic. I think everybody should be angry.
Yes.
I'll start going back, but I won't take long.
Okay.
Twice the judge defended the issue of the device. Okay? When the defense is challenging the device issue when it comes to Ntanzi being in prison. Was it Ntanzi or the other guy? I'm not sure who it was right now. But when they are choosing, yeah. And then the judge said, no, it is a device. Okay? And then the second time, when they were talking about the distance, that at this time, the guys were not in Foslo, they were in Joburg. He said the device was in Joburg. Now, why did the judge allow the state to bring the evidence of the device if the device is not important, if it doesn't help the state? Because if it doesn't help the defense, it can't help the state.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to dismiss it because the point that we have the issue of the cell phones is to pinpoint that these were the guys who did it. Not that the device did it.
Yeah.
So now let's come back to the last one. The judge, there's a big problem here with Steyn because Steyn pretends as if the Excel is this machine or whatever they are doing, where they get information from a PDF and they throw it in there and then it does its wonders. You understand? I don't know why they want to bring Steyn there. But I can understand the biggest problem is the confessions.
Yeah.
The so-called confession are solely based on the linkage with the cell phone with the case.
Yeah.
Because in the confession, CC, I know whatever CC, whatever there is a communication, a 3-second whatever the person is saying, and then they catch the device that they catch the communication between the suspect and okay. That's what they wanted us to believe.
Yes.
Now, when you dismiss that no, this is cooked up, so it does affect now the confessions.
Yeah.
It has to, and it's so crazy. It's so crazy to see what this judge is doing, and the whole South Africa is okay. You know, what worries me is that we have people who have been given bail right now for murder. Many of them have been watching cases, but No one is saying anything about Advocate Tifo. Advocate Tifo obulaile mangna. Who did he kill? Okay, they can charge him, but why can't they give him a bail? Hayi ngiyabonga uthi ngiphume before kuvuka amafufunyana. Ngiyabonga.
Siyabonga. Hey, yabona le confession. Isiyaxaka ke manje because the confession talks about the communication with Kelly and the accused. Yet, if this now is debunked as a mistake at Amafuka's number and what and the rest, now that would mean this confession does not exist. And in fact, it would prove that the confession was coerced. Because this theory was canvassed by the state, in my opinion. This theory was canvassed by the state. The same theory that is on that confession. Now, it could be seen as a mistake or anything else is coming. We don't know what it is. But it seems. Because one of these accused said there was a conversation with Kill. So now it seems as if everything is just going left. Now, the question is, how could these accused have sangomarized that the state is going to be able to find these numbers and make mistakes? No, someone else makes a mistake in their confession that was voluntary, and then you also make similar mistakes, and we say that that confession was not coerced and practiced. You were not made to practice what you needed to say. And your theory after that, it was aligned to whatever that they were finding as so-called evidence. Mzansi, hello.
Good evening.
Evening. Morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm all right.
Yeah, I have got some 3 points that I wanted to raise.
Shoot.
Yeah. Hey, this court is really a problem. I don't know what's really happening there. It never happened to South Africa, this kind of a case, whereby a judge allowed these things happen in front of him. Number one is the issue here, the judge himself already is presiding as in like he's already on the side of the state, because he also somehow defend the state by putting the words into the mouth of the state. Like I'll just give example with what he just raised in the court today. That what the state presented is to say they wanted to actually clarify from the state. And then himself today, he was defending the state that maybe the state want to verify.
Yeah.
That is putting the words to the state. So it shows that he always want to actually put words to the state, you see. That's my point number one. Number two is into too much. When Mshololo tried to actually take the stand, he's too actually frustrated, try to frustrate her many times.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, what is wrong with him towards Mshololo. It's really a challenge. And then number three is the item that I just wanted to ask. This is so embarrassing to our systems.
Yeah.
Now I thought when they actually extract the information from like the people, like crucial information like this one of the cell phone records, I thought there's a standard situation whereby if it's the issue of the format, there should be a standard format that should be allowed to the state when they actually present this kind of matters in the court. So I thought maybe there is something like a system that when you extract the information from the the cell phone companies like Vodacom and Telkom, whichever network, when they want to extract the information, there should be a standard format that should be actually allowed by everyone in the court of law. You see.
Yeah.
So this thing of PDF and Excel, hey, for me, is so embarrassing because I believe that as a standard, they were supposed to have a standard to say, okay, all the reports or the records that come from as the cell phone records from the company, they should be encrypted or use one format, you see, whereby there won't be someone who can actually tamper that kind of information.
Yeah.
And it should be logged. And it was supposed to be presented as the way they are in the court of law.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of discrepancies that are happening in this court. So, and I wonder the judge himself, what is he going to present as a judgment? That's a question that we're asking.
I think we're...
Thank you. I just wanted to raise that.
Okay. We are drawing clear to where the judge is going, in my opinion. Oh, nkosi yami ngaze ngabhlungu ngabafowethu kule yankantolo. The judge Jehovah. This is someone who's writing on I almost said on Facebook. I think we must have Facebook. I applaud the 375 team. The 375 team haven't had it, but it looks to break this case into a million pieces. I like how the defense has shaped. If the judge allows the Steyn to proceed, Advocate Mngomezule and Advocate Ramsipile are waiting for him. Yeah, they are rested. Let's hear before we move out.
Good morning, Mzansi family. Just a few additions to what most of the callers I think already have said. At the onset of the month in which we are celebrating women, this judge's arrogance, he can't help himself. He treats Mshololo the way he does, unashamedly. No remorse whatsoever. It's so unattractive to watch him treat her that way. And we must start saying something. We must start making noise about that, if nothing else. Furthermore, if the state produced a document in the name of Section 205 that was not provided by the service provider, as the service provider came to testify in this court, it is the duty of this judge to nullify that document, not to recall the state's witnesses on the request of the state to come and doctor what they have done. When Mngomezulu stood up to say that he was in possession of Kelly Kumalo's Section 205s and there was no record of her communicating with the accused persons, Baloyi stood up and said, Faifilingam will come and explain how those calls were made. Maybe it was data calls. Whereas Steyn, in his initial evidence, said it was network calls. Faifilingam came and she said, no records of those network calls. She cannot see whether there were data calls made because she cannot see what activities are done on data calls. I mean on data, on the usage of data, because it can be anything from calls, WhatsApp calls, to video calls, to visiting apps or whatever you do on the internet. So now, that just went over everybody's heads. Sibanda did not probe on that at all. And that was never canvassed properly. It should have been canvassed in the way that Baloyi suggested it to be the day he stood up and said, Faifilingam will give clarity on that matter. It should have been probed in that way. But it was just left there to melt. And now Steyn must be recalled to come and doctor that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he wants to do that. And you are right, Mr. Anonymous. Anonymous, when you say that man will come back and the judge will be the one who recalls him because of that Amadata thing that he apparently doesn't understand. He will find a way. He was signaling, he was tapping his pen, he was making sounds, he was doing everything to show to signal Baloyi and to show his disapproval of what the defense lawyers were doing. Because he already had his judgment. He came with the Tui this time. He had his judgment. So guys, I don't know. This judge wants to make us believe that the court system works on logics that are outside of logic. If the state brought a Section 205 that is not the one that was provided by the service provider, then that document must be nullified. And the one that was brought by the service provider should be the one that will be used as authority in this trial. That's it. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's how we close it. That's how I close it. That's how, Emily, I'm done. It's been 2 hours of engaging. We hope to break it down into 2 parts: the callers part and a commentary
Someone
part.
suggested.
Yes, someone suggested that we will follow that line. I wish Senzo Meyiwa's family remain strong and God guide them, and us lovers of Senzo Meyiwa remain in peace. Yes. Thank you, Nat. We love you too. Chuguana, thank you. Raul, thank you. Thank you very much. And to the new members, welcome. Sizwe Mgaga, thank you. Mlambo Designs, thank you. Let us not forget that the Excel document is a carbon copy of the PDF outside of the other caller's information. So if it's internet calls, then why would mimic the PDF only explanation is changing? Okay, PDF, is it? Are they brothers with Excel, right? No, it's not. It's a different. It's a different. It's
Software.
It's different software. Elizabeth, therefore said the junior police officer did the perfect work and they should be applauded. Therefore said being junior does not mean you are unable. You are the ground force. I really like therefore. Mzansi, hello. We can hear myself. I can hear myself.
Morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
I can hear you and myself. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. Okay. She disappeared. I'm going to give you time. Just one more time to come back because I don't want to. Omega, I beg to differ with Mr. Anonymous regarding Steyn. I think Steyn is going to do an... What is this? Aglioti? Or on the on G unit, and Mr. Vaseline, he will definitely flip on the stand if they recall him. Watch the space. And then I have one question. I have
singing like a canary.
I have one question for you. I have just one question. Why was he sick? I mean, if you really think that they are catching who's this Steyn off guards, are you really thinking that? He was sick, man.
He was sick. He was supposed to come last week.
If you could see me, I could use my hands for inverted commas.
And he was sick.
He was sick. Yes. He was sick.
He was not feeling well.
I bet you if you ask for a doctor's note, you probably would be finished with in... I don't know when. But yeah, he was sick. He was sick. And I don't think that because he was sick, I do not think he will flip on the stage. That's my opinion. I don't think that he will flip because he was sick.
That's what I thought. I thought, oh, they're throwing Steyn under the bus. Oh, Steyn will come and sing like a canary. And not anymore.
No, he was sick.
I don't think that anymore.
So the fact that he was sick, I don't think that he will come and flip on the stage. He's gonna just, in my opinion, be in line. And something else is gonna give. Maybe a call using a secret something. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Ayivumi sis. Iyala ngiyakubona uyabuya. Iyanqaba ithi cha. Yeah. Let me do this. Let me close now. Thank you very much, guys, for being here. Tumelo, thank you. Mamelo, thank you. And the new members and Ansike Moyo, Turitus, Lola. I'm just remembering you from the bar. Dipuo, Kuku, Tabiso. Just from the bar. Mami, Mina, Sangwin, Togos Lang. I just remember you from Sifiso Sindane. Thank you, Zipondi. Thank you very much, and the rest of everyone. But yeah, let us see. Let us bet, man. If you want, I don't think Steyn is flipping tomorrow. Tomorrow, in fact, today. I don't think it's flipping today.
I used to think so, but
Nangelo,
not anymore.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you. Yes, that's it. Chukuan. That's a bye from me. Thank you.